I found my husband's murder file. Now I have to outsmart him. Our house isn't just clean, it's curated. Every object has its place. Every surface gleams. It's a testament to my husband, Marcus. He's a man who thrives on order, on perfection. For the 10 years we've been married, I've seen this not as a flaw, but as a byproduct of his brilliance. He's a high-powered investment banker, a man who builds empires out of chaos, so it only made sense that his home life would be his sanctuary of perfect control. I chose to see it as romantic, a sign of how much he cherished the life we'd built. Looking back now, I can see that my core flaw wasn't just that I ignored the red flags, it was that I actively chose to weave them into a prettier picture. I was living in a beautiful, gilded cage and had convinced myself it was a castle. I remember last Tuesday, I came home to find him in our library, a faint frown on his face as he rearranged a shelf of books. They were organized by author, I'd said with a small laugh. He didn't look up. They're more aesthetically pleasing when organized by color and spine height, he'd replied, his voice calm, absolute, as if there was no other correct way for them to be. Later that evening, he'd kissed my forehead and told me I was the perfect wife, the perfect partner who allowed him to focus on building their future. It sounded like a compliment, but now the words curdle in my memory. He wasn't praising me. He was praising a well-behaved prop. The illusion began to crack yesterday. Marcus had been hinting for weeks about a huge surprise for our 10th anniversary. All he'd tell me was that I needed to find my passport. I started searching my desk, a space that was usually a creative, chaotic mess, but it was strangely neat. He'd helpfully reorganized it for me over the weekend, stacking my notebooks into sterile piles and aligning all my pens. A flicker of real annoyance, hot and sharp, went through me, but I swallowed it down like I always did. He's just trying to help, I told myself. This is what he does. I couldn't find the passport anywhere. Not in my desk, not in our bedroom, not in the hall closet. Have you checked my office? He called from the other room. Maybe I put it in there for safekeeping. His office was his inner sanctum, a room I rarely entered. It was immaculate, of course. A huge mahogany desk, polished to a mirror shine, a wall of perfectly aligned books, and a single expensive orchid on the windowsill. It smelled of leather and money. There was no clutter, no chaos, no sign of the man I thought I knew. It was the office of a stranger. I checked the desk drawers, each one a testament to his obsession with order, but there was no passport. And that's when my search for a simple document became something else entirely. I stood in the center of his perfect office, a sense of unease crawling up my spine. The passport wasn't here, but something else was. I could feel it. And then, a memory surfaced, hazy and insignificant at the time, but suddenly sharp and clear now. It was from a few months ago. We were hosting a dinner party, and one of the guests, a history professor, had been admiring the row of antique, leather-bound books on the top shelf of Marcus's bookshelf. As Marcus was pontificating about their rarity, I'd seen him do something odd. He'd tapped the wall behind the books, a quick, almost subconscious little rhythm with his knuckles, as if checking for something. At the time, I'd dismissed it as just another one of his strange little tics. Now it felt like a clue. My eyes went to the bookshelf, the top shelf, a row of identical 19th century legal encyclopedias that he'd once told me never to touch, as they were too fragile. My heart started to beat a little faster. This felt wrong. This felt like a violation of the silent, unspoken rules of our carefully curated life. But the unease, the feeling that something was deeply wrong in this perfect house, was stronger. I grabbed the small step ladder from the corner and climbed up. The books were heavy, much heavier than they looked, their leather spines cool and smooth under my fingers. I lifted the first one out, then the second, my muscles straining. As I removed the third book, I saw it. Faint, almost invisible scuff marks on the deep burgundy wallpaper, right where the corner of something square had scraped against it. It was the unmistakable, perfectly geometric outline of a wall safe.